Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Today's video is for you beginners or for those looking for an easy flow. Today's movements will be very simple, very basic, but that doesn't mean they won't be effective. Props for today, you'll need a bolster or a couple pillows to sit on if you like, just to raise yourself up off the ground. And I do recommend 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, some thick, sturdy books would do the trick. Hop on your mat or find a space that you can practice in. Hop into some comfy clothes and let's get started. To begin our session today, meet me here on your mat, and I recommend on a bolster or a couple pillows in what's called Sukhasana, or easy cross-legged seated position. Cross at the ankles, nice tall spine, open heart, open chest, level chin. And this way we can get in touch with our breath, because breath is very important during a yoga practice. And how that's going to work is just exhale, let everything out. Inhaling through the belly to begin with. Move it up to the ribs, feel them expand outward, and then into the chest, feel the chest open, feel the chest lift, and then exhale. Let everything out, chest, ribs, belly. So with an inhale, belly button out, ribs expand outwards, chest lifts, and then exhale, the reverse order. Now while you're moving through these yoga postures, you don't have to do this, but I recommend it, especially during movement, is what's called the Ujjayi pranayama, or victorious breath pranayama, meaning a type of breath work or breath technique. And how that works is inhale and exhale through the nose while restricting the throat ever so slightly, pressing the tongue to the roof of your mouth, which will restrict your throat. And imagine as you exhale, you're fogging a piece of glass in front of your nose. So inhaling, exhaling through the belly, ribs, chest, full breath, exhaling through the nose. So let's take a couple breaths together just to get in sync. So inhale, feel the belly, ribs, chest, and then exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, and then exhale. One more time, and inhale. And exhale. Let everything all go. If the inhale and exhale through the nose is too much, just inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. But be conscious of your breath during our practice today. Now gather your knees up, come off of your props if you're on any, put them off to the side, and come into a table posture. Named table posture because it looks like a table, 4 legs. Just neutral, shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. This is a basic kind of transition pose that we use. And with an inhale, you're going to tilt your hips forward, arching the back, sending the tailbone towards the sky, lifting the chest, lifting the chin. This is cow pose. And then with an exhale, we're going to tuck the pelvis, round the back, send the spine up towards the sky, chin falling towards the chest. This is cat pose. Inhale for cow. Tilt the pelvis forward, drop the belly, tailbone up towards the sky, lifting the chest, lifting the chin. And then exhale, tucking the pelvis, tucking the tailbone. Chin falls towards the chest, really pressing through the earth with the hands, sending the spine up towards the sky. Another inhale, another cow pose. And another exhale, another cat. One last time, inhale for cow. And exhale, cat. And then come back to a neutral table posture. Bring the knees wide to the mat, bring the big toes to touch, and sink the hips back to the heels, bringing the forehead down to the ground or to something. If the forehead doesn't quite reach the ground, you can grab your pillows or your bolster or a block here, just so your head rests on something. And there's multiple levels to blocks, or if you're working with books, you can just stack up books to where it's comfortable for you. And the arms don't have to be stretched out wide. They can be in a comfortable position. But find your comfortable setup for your child's pose. And with an inhale, we'll press ourselves back up to table, tucking the toes, and then we'll send our hips up into the air, coming into downward facing dog. Really pressing through the earth with the hands, biceps next to the ears, a little bit of space between the ears and the shoulders. Try not to be scrunched up in the neck. The tailbone nice and high, trying to make this A shape with the body. And ideally, the heels get pretty close to the ground. If you need some room, you can bend at the knees if it's more comfortable for you. But try to press the chest back towards the thighs. And from here, we can pedal out our feet just to warm up the body a little bit, make ourselves a little bit more comfortable. And with an inhale, coming back down, knees to the mat, into table posture. And an exhale, send the hips back for child's pose. We'll go through this for one more round. And when you're ready, inhale, table, tuck the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. You can go through this table, child's pose, down dog as many times as you like, just to warm yourself up. But eventually, and if you're following along, just meet me in downward facing dog. Look towards the front of your mat and start to walk up in between your hands. Come up onto the fingertips if necessary. And when you're here, just let yourself hang in what's called a standing forward fold. Slight bend at the knees to rest the torso on the knees if you like. Or if you're able to fully extend the knees and rest that way, that's okay. And we'll inhale, slowly rising up to a standing mountain pose or a standing pose. With an inhale, we'll circle our arms up, touching our palms together overhead. And exhale, bring the hands down to heart center in this Anjali Mudra. These prayer hands at heart center. Inhale, hands and arms come up. And then exhale, open the arms as we dive forward into a standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift as the arms press against the shins, sort of making this A shape again with our body, just in a different plane. And then exhale, fold, planting the hands on the mat, stepping back with the left leg, dropping the left knee to the ground, right foot stays where it's at. And with an inhale, lift your shoulders over the hips for this low lunge. And exhale, fold again, hands to mat. Step the right leg back to table posture. Shift yourself down all the way to the belly, pressing the shoelace side of the foot on the ground, legs together. Inhale, lift the chest and chin for low cobra. And exhale, back down. Press yourself up into table posture again. And then exhale, tucking the toes, pressing back into downward facing dog. Now lift the right leg in the air. This is called three-legged dog. And then exhale, step that through between the hands. Drop the back knee. Rise up with an inhale into low lunge. Bring the arms up this time. Palms facing each other. And then exhale down. Plant the hands on the mat. Lift the back knee off the ground and then step forward with an inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. Now the same thing we just went through, it's just opposite side. A slight bend at the knees this time. Drive the arms and hands up with an inhale and exhale. Dive forward into that standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, stepping the opposite leg back this time. The right leg, dropping the right knee to the ground. And then rise up for low lunge, shoulders over hips with an inhale. And exhale, back down to the mat. Plant the hands, table posture or high plank. And then lower yourself down all the way to the ground. Shoelace side of the foot on the ground again. And we'll press ourselves up into high cobra this time. So lift the chest, lift the chin, and straighten the arms, pressing yourself up. And exhale down from this high cobra. With an inhale, press up into table posture. Tuck the toes, press back into downward facing dog, pressing through the earth with the hands, pressing the chest towards the thighs. And with an inhale, lift the left leg for three-legged dog. And exhale, step that through between the hands. Drop the back knee. Inhale, rise up, shoulders over hips, hands overhead, palms facing each other. And exhale, hands back down to the mat. Lift the back knee, step forward with an inhale for halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. So those rounds we just went through, left and right, that was a sun salutation A, or a salute to the sun, usually done in the morning, preferably outside in front of the sun. But it's very common in a yoga flow to just do that, just to get the blood pumping, get the body moving, basic postures as a warm-up for what may come next in any yoga pose, or any yoga flow, excuse me. So now that we're here in mountain pose, step back with the left foot, leave the right foot where it is, and this left foot, turn it out maybe 30, 40 degrees. Try to keep this back leg straight. Keep your hips pointed forward, most importantly, both hip bones here, straight on. And imagine your hips sort of like a bowl. So you don't want to dump the bowl this way or that way, back and forward. You want to keep this bowl nice and level. You want to keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. You want to keep the ribs down. Nice bend in this front knee. And with the arms raised up here, palms facing in, this is warrior one. Take a breath here. Adjust anything that needs to be adjusted. And with an exhale, fold yourself forward, still in this warrior one stance. And this is the point where you can grab your blocks if necessary, put them towards the front of the mat. And as you fold over, you can use these blocks as support. As you're folding over this bent knee, a breath here. Inhale, feel how the belly expands against the thigh. And when you're ready with an inhale, straighten this front leg. This is pyramid pose. Feel how this changes the treatment just by straightening the front leg here. You may feel a stretch in the back of the leg. Rebend, rise back up, pressing off of these blocks. Back into this warrior one. And exhale, step forward, bring the hands to heart center. Gather yourself. If you need to fix your feet, go ahead and do so. And then step back into warrior one with the opposite side. So the right leg is back, toes pointed about 30, maybe 45 degrees out. Whatever is necessary to keep the back heel on the ground and also the back leg straight. And then we'll bend into this front knee. as much as possible, still keeping that back heel on the ground. Hips again are pointed forward, ribs are stacked over the hips, shoulders stacked over the hips as well. And with our arms up, palms facing each other, this is warrior one. A breath here, and then we'll exhale and we'll fold forward, grabbing our blocks. Take a couple breaths here, inhaling through the belly. Feeling what the breath does on this side against the opposite thigh. With an inhale, we'll straighten this front leg. This pyramid pose. Notice how the treatment changes. Notice the stretch you're feeling on the back of this leg. And rebend when you're satisfied with that, pressing off the blocks. Rise back up into warrior one. And then as you step forward, bring the hands to heart center into this mountain pose. Bend at the knees. Inhale, hands and arms come up. And exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. Plant the hands on the mat. Step back into high plank. Bring the knees to the mat. You remove your props off to the side if you had any. And then we'll swing the legs around and we'll come onto our bottom. Soles of the feet on the mat. Extend the arms out. Bring yourself to the upper third of your mat. And then as you exhale, slowly roll back down onto your back. Bring the heels fairly close to yourself, to the hips. Maybe so close as you can graze the fingertips on the side of the heel. And with an inhale, we'll press our hips up into the air for a bridge. And exhale, hips come back down to the mat, rolling the spine back down. Now inhale, bring the arms up to the sky, palms facing away. And then bring the hands all the way overhead, fingertips on the ground overhead. And with an exhale, roll your arms all the way back down to the ground. The palms touch the ground. Now with an inhale, we're going to lift our hips and raise our arms above our head. So inhale, this is rolling bridge. Our hips will reach their highest point as the fingertips touch the ground. And exhale, everything back down. Hips touch the ground just as the palms touch the ground. A couple more times, just like this rolling bridge. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the hands. Feel the heart open here. Try to keep the knees pointed forward. And then exhale, down. Inhale, rolling bridge. And exhale, down. One more time, inhale. Lift the hips, lift the arms. And exhale, down. And everything settled back on the ground. Float the feet off the ground. Bring the knees to touch, bring the ankles to touch. Have your legs in sort of this 90 degree. Bring your arms out to a T if you have room. And then exhale. The legs come over to the left side. Try to keep that 90-90 stack. Feel this twisting in the body now. Feel length along the side body here. If you'd like to use a block to place in between your legs, you can do so. Or you can gently rest your left arm if you've twisted to the left against this top leg, just to add a little bit more treatment to this stretch you're feeling along here. Not necessary, and definitely don't crank on it. Or if you'd like to remain at a T, you can do so. Or if you'd like to turn the chin towards the opposite side, you can do so. Or you can leave the chin neutral and extend the right arm overhead, which will intensify this side body stretch. Or you can simply just stay neutral, having arms out to a T if possible. Taking deep breaths here. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through either the nose or the mouth. After your next exhale, inhale and float the knees back to center. And if you need to shift your hips over, do so. But with an exhale, let them fall over to the opposite side. Try to keep that 90-90 as much as possible, and the same modifications apply to this side. Find whatever's comfortable for you. Come to stillness and take deep, fulfilling inhales and easy exhales. After your next exhale, remove any modifications you may have taken. Bring your arms out to a T, and then with an inhale, float the legs back up to center. Give yourself a nice hug. Bring the knees to the chest. Wrap the arms around the shins. You can rock side to side, back and forth, whatever feels nice to you. Inhale and then exhale, release, extending the legs outward. Bringing the palms facing up. Have some space between the arms and the side body. Let the feet fall where they will. Begin to relax the body. Let the breath run wild. You can let your thoughts run wild for now. Maybe focus on just relaxing from the toes all the way to the top of the head. So we'll relax the toes. We'll let the heels rest heavy on the earth. Maybe feel a breeze on the back of your knee, resting the thighs and the hips against the earth. Let the shoulders be heavy, the back of the arms, the back of the hands. Feel the air pass through the fingers. Let the back of the head rest heavy on the earth. Let the tongue fall into the lower palate. Let the eyes sink back into their orbits. And imagine the brain falling to the back of your skull. Nowhere else to be, nothing left to do. Just be here at ease. I want you to imagine yourself sitting on a riverbank. It's the perfect day outside. You hear the water trickling by. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. And you see your thought coming from upstream. Maybe imagine that thought just sitting on the log. You see it coming from upstream, you recognize it as it goes past you, and then once it disappears downstream, just let go of that thought. There are as many logs in this stream as you need. Just recognize your thought, see it as it passes by, and then let it go as it goes out of view. Wherever you are, lost in thought, release that thought and return to your breath. Easy, fulfilling inhale. Easy exhale. Start to bring awareness back to the body. Start with the toes, fingertips. Start to bring small movements to these areas. Wiggle the toes. Wiggle the fingers. Eventually these movements will grow. Rolling the ankles, rolling the wrists. Moving the arms, turning the head side to side. Eventually point the toes, extend the arms overhead. Feel a full body stretch. And then return the arms down to the side. Bend a knee, place the sole of the foot on the ground, and then press off that foot when you're ready. Coming onto your side in this recovery posture, this fetal posture. Just a few moments to let our nervous system catch up before we press ourselves up into an easy cross-legged seat. Whenever you're ready, and only when you're ready, press yourself up, cross at the ankles, nice tall spine, walk your hips back, sitting on the sit bones. Open heart space, level chin. I hope you enjoyed this easy flow for beginners. If there's something you liked out of it, please let me know in the comments below. Let's take one last breath together to close out this practice. With an inhale, let's circle the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.